of intelligence, you understand, by monitoring the movement of these smuggled items to the final destination, then we just go there and make an evacuate. So that's what we do. So that with that, there won't be any issue of casualty or.
They have a surveillance that followed imported rice. Do you see how conflicting that is? Tinubu said everybody who can bring food to Nigeria should please bring food to Nigeria so that to help them crash the price of food. Abi? On a lie. Customs goes into people's shops, breaks into people's shops, loot their shops of hundreds of bags of rice in this Tinubu Nigeria. If they take 100 bags from your shop, that's like 800,000 naira. I'm sorry. If you take 10 bags from your shop, that's like 800,000 naira. 100 is like 8 million naira. This time, where people are borrowing money to do. So that's the technique. So they loot and they break into their shops and loot. And here is when one of their controller or of you is displaying to us all of the stuff they have taken from people. They said people should bring food to Nigeria. If you try however, he said importation of rice, except brown rice and paddy rice, except for the two. Importation of rice is no longer allowed. So if you're a rice trader, I don't know how to go to take a copo. Are you with me?
These things of questionable quality to get into the hands. Very senior officials from government agencies here present, the zonal coordinator, customs area controllers present, gentlemen of the press. You might recall that about a month ago, just over a month ago, I came around to Apapa on an official assignment, and based on the intelligence available to my office, I informed officers that there is an influx of containers that have defied various prohibition laws and regulations in the port. I challenged them to go after these containers and after the importers of these containers and bring them to book. I am happy that our officers in Apapa Command have realized that it's important that we do not sacrifice the health and the security of Nigerians and everyone living in this country on the altar of trade facilitation. I am pleased to state that our officers are now living up to the expectations by executing the mandates that I gave to them to the fullest. Today, I am here to present seizures made by Apapa Command. We have seen a couple of them. They comprise of expired and controlled pharmaceutical products with a total duty paid value of 1.8 billion naira. let me explain that these items, if they are allowed to exit the ports, would undermine the security of our dear nation by influencing the behavior of individuals involved in criminal activities, often fueled by illicit drugs such as tramadol. Apart from being expired, some of the drugs that we have seen today were imported without undergoing the necessary regulatory requirements, such as the NAFDAC number. We also have containers that were seized largely due to false declarations, ostensibly.
Anyway, let's fast forward that to where he managed to tell everybody that importation of rice to Nigeria is still illegal. And last month, they repeatedly told us that Tifnumbu call has opened the border for them to bring more food. Who is deceiving who?
These things of questionable quality to get into the hands of Nigerians. And that's what I mean by saying that we are running them out of business. Of course, they must have invested a lot of money into this. We will have to do more follow-up if you want to know what happens to these containers after the press briefing. Traditionally, we hand them over to the relevant agencies that has regulatory oversights over them. The drugs, for example, will be handed over to NDLA. Those drugs, pharmaceuticals without numbers, registration, will be handed over to NAFDAC. And I am surprised that you have never witnessed destruction of this before. It happens, I can assure you. So maybe I would just appeal to those agencies to get media stakeholders involved anytime destruction is being carried out on these elements. They are all from different countries. The containers are all from different countries. They are not from the same countries. I was deliberately silent on the country of importation. Now, talking about the food items. Now, the issue is whether there is going to be whether we are going to struggle to meet our target. Now, every year, federal government, in response to certain situation, has always found it necessary to bring up some kind of interventions. This intervention, this particular one under reference, has to do with measures to address food security in the country in the long run and ending hunger in the short run. What it does means is that there has to be sacrifice that should be made, or that will be made by different agencies of government. And of course, by Nigerians too, who have been asked to tighten up their belts in the last few months. Now we have these measures meant to alleviate our conditions. So Nigeria Customs Service is also, the federal government of Nigeria, through the Nigeria Customs Service, would also bear some of this responsibility and make sacrifices. So from the data that we have, in the last, an average of the data we have in the second quarter of 2023 and the first quarter of 2024, import data shows that we spend an average of 1.3 trillion half of the year. So it's about 2.6 for those items alone, for those items that are exempted alone, brown rice, wheat, those grains items that are mentioned in the concessions. So by our estimates, a total of about 188 billion will be forfeited in terms of customs duties, levies that would have been collected on this. But I really don't think this is too much a sacrifice for the customs of a government to bear when we compare it to the long-term objective of putting food on the tables of Nigeria. We will have to also tighten our belts. We will have to look at our processes and procedures and look at other areas of our operations where we can close some leakages here and ensure that this shortfall does not represent a major dent in our efforts to realize our targets for 2024. Thank you. I mean, there is nothing in these fiscal measures that says that rice will be brought in through the border. Nothing has changed in the importation of rice, apart from the fact that brown rice or rice paddies will be allowed duty-free. That is the only amendment to the fiscal policies. So the extant policies on rice still remain the same. Importation through the land borders is still restricted. And of course, it is already removed from the items that could not access Forex. So those who have the money, who have the Forex, and if they want to import it, can still bring it. You know that periodically, we still have rice imported in the ports, some of them in smaller packages, in packets, in those processed rice. They still come into the country. It's not under import prohibition as yet.
You see the confusion. If you can sense the confusion in what he's saying, that tells you everything else you need to know about their policies that they told you. They were to later they are going to make, or they're going to kind of make life easier for you. Yeah. For now, tighten your seat. I said tighten your seat belt. Tighten your belt. That's what they are saying. You can bring rice to Nigeria if you have the Forex to import it, so that we can seize it from you when you do that. Rice, rice is still not allowed. It's still prohibited to import rice because it has been removed from the Forex subsidy list. But yeah, you can bring it if you have the money anyway. In the same breath. So if you'd go at your own risk, I want to where is that one again? Okay. So this one, I'm going to do it briefly. Then I'll do more on it maybe later. Okay. There is this guy, and they said that, we've been trying to find out the people behind the new beneficiaries of the Tifnubu subsidy, Abi. So we found the guy. Okay. And this is him. I'll tell you more after.
And we are passionate about this country. Myself, all my educations are in Nigeria, and we have invested heavily in this country. Matrix Energy today has over 2,700 staff. We do this because we believe in this country. But when people go to the media to attack people, I think it goes beyond money, beyond business. It is something that has a lot of psychological effect. We have been accused, both Darkman and Matrix Energy, for bringing product from Russia or from other countries. But it's strange to me, as I'm not aware that Nigerian has banned or stopped importation of product for some countries. The most important thing to us is, and the most important thing to every responsible government, is to make good and product available to the people at affordable price. Monopoly kill business. And when people invest without doing the needful, that is why you see them, they accuse everybody. I will make reference to one or 2 points. You see, Nigerians today are crying that the price of foodstuff is high. Somebody published the result of his company yesterday, making over 133 billion in 6 months. The profit is coming from where? Sugar. Nigerians are paying more because Nigerians are not allowed to import sugar. We buy from the monopolistic people.
Dr. Man, we are not.
Yes, sir.
Again, I said this is not the public. This is not the public hearing.
It's okay.
The
most important thing, sir, is that we are in support of what the Senate is doing, and at appropriate time, we will speak our mind. We are Nigerians, we are businessmen, we have done what is required to stabilize energy supply in the country, and we will continue to support the government in ensuring that product is adequately available at affordable price. Thank you.
Mr. Adizar Liu, Matrix Energy, the man who has now come forward to say the reason why Dangote is not happy, right, is because its monopoly is being broken. Well, let me break this down for you, okay? Nigeria imports fuel from several countries, Switzerland, Russia, even the Niger Republic. And those who were doing such a business, they had to do it through the NNPCs, like slot, they share it. And that is where the subsidy goes, the people sharing subsidy. Because they are the ones who will bring the fuel to Nigeria and tell you the cost per liter is going to be this. Then the government will give them money so that they won't sell it too expensive for you. Right. Subsidy behind the scene makes some certain people very rich. However, when Dangote said he's building a refinery, it was to put an end to that. So Dangote refinery is not ready, at least 100% ready. They said it is only 45% ready, nearly 50% ready, which means it can still produce or refine crude. And if that should happen, these importers, and that's where Matrix Energy comes in. He's been doing business with NNPC for a while. In fact, he became part and parcel of the NNPC scheme. That man and his business, right? It became part and parcel of the NNPC scheme after the 2020 coronavirus pandemic, when Nigeria was looking for so much money. It was one of those, they said, gave them bought into the idea of give us crude oil and we'll give you money. Loan, crude oil for loan, or oil swap. So he benefited from that too. So it's been like part and parcel. But at the time, it's just a small fry. Okay, like when we say small fry, like it's just one of them. Until last year, when Tifnubu removed subsidy, Dangote refinery was supposed to be getting crude oil. Unfortunately, Bokwari has already traded off the Nigerian crude oil for the next 25 years. So which simply means that Nigeria may get crude oil, and including the allocation they normally have to give to NNPC. So from the extracted crude oil from Nigeria by these IOCs, international oil companies, right? So there is an agreed allocation they have to give to the NNPC, Nigeria NNPC. So NNPC will now use it at the Nigerian refineries, like the Warri refinery, Port Harcourt refinery. So they always get allocation like that. So since APC, Egbekegbe came in, and the refinery is dead, this crude oil allocation, they were still getting it, but they were just selling the crude oil. They were supposed to be using the crude oil, refine it in Nigerian refineries and sell them to Nigerians, like for your petrols, diesel, and all of that, okay? But since the refineries are not working, the crude oil allocation that they are giving to Nigeria, they just started selling them off. NNPC just started selling them off. Even though they promised Dangote that, listen, Dangote, we'll give you a share in this crude oil allocation for your refinery once you start working. Then Tifnubu came in. And this Matrix Energy guy, they just upgraded him. Okay, this happened in sequence, okay? Tifnubu came in, removed subsidy, right? And everybody felt like subsidy was gone, which means, including Matrix guy, okay, collecting subsidy money. All of them will not collect any subsidy money anymore. That was the impression. But behind the scene, they removed those ones that is no longer part of their clique, Tifnubu's clique. But this Matrix Energy guy, plus Ohando, which they also around that time also added. So Ohando, Matrix, they became the largest sharer of the NNPC fuel importation to Nigeria. But there is a problem. The problem there is that Dangote refinery is meant to start work. They can't let that happen. At least not now. It's going to affect a lot. They just got upgraded and it's just about to start making a lot of money. So if Dangote's refinery should start kind of supplying the market, automatically the government is expected to cut down on what they spend on importing, since locally they can have access to that. So Dangote can't. So the first thing is to kind of remind him that the paper you signed of Nigeria supplying you crude oil every day, that paper is not valid because Nigeria don't get crude oil to give to you. So you probably have to figure out where you're going to find crude oil for your refinery. Then the Ogbeni go find places you could buy crude oil, like Brazil, as far away as Texas in the United States of America. Yet the crude oil in Bayelsa or the one in Bauchi is inaccessible to him. So that's the first part of the scandal after Tifnumbu came, but there is more. So Nigeria now increased what they import and how much they pay for subsidy. Nigeria now increased that, like nearly triple that for Matrix Energy and Ohando Petroleum, which has now become NNPC Ohando. I don't know, some of you who have cars. Have you been to Ohando lately? And you decided to buy engine oil, or what's that called, right? Engine oil. And then you see Ohando NNPC. Now only them get up. This Matrix Energy plus Ohando, they just upgraded from $0 imported fuel from Malta. Okay, here it is. Ohando, the guy who is also the owner of Ohando, right, is fingered as part owner of this refinery in Malta. And between May last year and May 2023 and May 2024, Ohando, Matrix Energy, especially the two of them, from Malta alone, they were able to import fuel that is worth over $2 billion paid to them by the Tifnumbu's government. Like I said, they are businessmen. And Dangote has been enjoying monopoly of everything all this while. Why is he now want to enjoy monopoly of petroleum again? But they are not businessmen. They are cheaters. They are using, okay. This is where you're going to feel like, are you trying to feel sympathy for Dangote? Not just that now, not sympathy per se. It's pretty much like the criminality, the deep state involved, and the losers, Nigerians. So none of them who said they love Nigeria, like that Matrix guy, is building any refinery in Nigeria. They just want to bring the fuel to Nigeria. But in order to make it easier and justify why they have to bring the fuel, they said the sulfur testing their imported fuel to Nigeria. So hazardous. There are a lot of you are consuming smoke from all these engines, all these cars, all these things, right? The fuel they are supplying you and you have been using in that place, especially in the last 1 year, they are the fuels that will slowly kill you. But the people where they import fuel that will kill you slowly, they quickly accuse Dangote that his refinery product, the sulfur in it, is going to kill you. That is why they must continue to import fuel and continue to pay subsidy for the imported fuel. And Nigerians will continue to actually suffer and remain in poverty, since the chunk of their money goes into the pocket of few people, because they are businessmen who doesn't like monopoly. That's what happened. So that Matrix Energy guy is a businessman that is enjoying the protection like Dangote enjoyed all this while. And he did mention it. He said somebody declared profit of 160-something billion on sugar alone in 6 months. That person is complaining that we are bringing fuel to Nigeria. We just want Nigerians to buy cheap. No, you're not buying anything cheap. Currently, some of you are paying over 800 naira per liter for fuel in Nigeria. Do you understand that this Matrix guy and the Anko, they are being paid over 900 billion naira every month, so that you can be buying fuel at 800 naira per liter. If not, you suppose don't they buy them for 1,500, 1,700 naira per liter. But they love Nigeria. I just thought I should mention that. Okay. So they are no longer hiding. All right. No hiding anymore. They are in the open to tell all of us that, yes, we are the one doing it. We are businessmen. Anybody complaining is enemy of Nigeria. Like this old video of Onokpasa